So, recording is going and people are online. So, hello everyone and welcome to Seidat webinar, Boost Your Competitive Edge, 3 strategies to stand out in sales meetings. And I'm Paulus Perkkiö, and I'm here together with Fredrik. We can present ourselves a little bit shortly in later. But when we start to discuss about this topic, before that, I really recommend you to follow Seidat in social media, especially in LinkedIn and Instagram, because in those channels we are telling you our latest news, coming webinars, and all kind of tricks how to develop your sales and usage of presentations. So welcome once again. When we jump to today's agenda, I would say that we will tell you about how to develop wow feeling to presentation, how to guide your conversation so that you are always one step ahead of your customers. And then we tell you how do you show the customer that you have prepared really well, because you are willing to meet them and you are willing to solve their problems. Those are the main 3 topics what we will cover today. We will have live chat open all the time, and if you have any questions, any comments, please use that chat, because it's very important that we can make this session a little bit interactive. But maybe I can introduce shortly myself. I'm Paulus Perkkiö. I'm CEO and the founder of Seidat. I have founded several companies and worked with sales, to be honest, more than 30 years. It's a long time, but I have been never as a title as a salesperson, but I have been always working with sales. So it's really nice to be here together with Fredrik. Fredrik, could you introduce shortly yourself?
Yes, thank you, Paulo. So it's quite fun. So you started with sales even before I was born. So
that's true.
I feel pretty humble, talking about sales with a person that has so much experience, and I have first-hand experience with Paulus and sales. So I'm grateful to be here. I'm Fredrik, originally from Sweden. Now living in Helsinki, Finland. My wife brought me here, also business studies a few years ago. So I feel really, really happy about being in Finland. I'm though focusing on the Swedish market with Seidat. So I mostly have meetings in Swedish still. Had my first sales job in 2011. I've been working with a little bit different things, business development, management consulting as well. I would say that's about it. Totally.
Yeah. Thank you, Fredrik. It's wonderful that you have joined to our team, and now we can have this webinar together. But as an introduction to this topic of boosting your competitive edge, I would like to start from what means competitive advantage and standing out. What way makes you different than the others? How can your customers think that you have better solutions for them than your competitors? Last couple of weeks ago, I was in SaaStock in Dublin, and there was April Dunford telling about positioning. And I have read at least one of his books. I can't remember that name, but he has just now published a book about sales pitch. And I really recommend, because she is really clever woman and has so much experience how to build different kind of success stories. And when we think about competitive advantage and trying to get better sales results, I totally agree what she says, that positioning is the key for everything. So if we think about this model, she explains that that way, that of course when you start thinking about positioning, where are you, why your customers should choose your services and products, everything starts from competitive alternatives. So what kind of not only competitors, but like we ourselves, we don't see PowerPoint as a competitor to our business, but it's competitive alternative, like PDF also. What kind of distinctive attributes your product and service has? And for example, in our case, it's not all about our product, but it's also our customer success. What kind of support we can give to our customers, it's totally different than with what those competitive alternatives can offer. Then you should think about what kind of value those distinctive attributes will bring to your customers, and who are those customers who are really willing to pay about that value. And then you will find the market category, and when you follow this kind of process, you have strong position and you can build strong sales pitch. And when we think about this, try to make it a little bit more simple, I would say that this competitive advantage is all about the value, what you can bring to your customers, and finding those customers who are ready to pay for it. So if you can produce some value and they are ready to pay for it, then deal closing is so much easier. And then comes only how can you stand out, how they can find you. So how can you draw the attention to your product and services, and how you can highlight those competitive advantages. I think this positioning thinking, when we try to get more competitive edge, is the base for everything. And I really recommend thinking this kind of topics. Maybe we can then jump to the next topic, how to guide the conversation so that you are always one step ahead of your customers. And Fred, stage is yours. What kind of experiences you have now learned lately?
Thank you so much, Paulus. I think it was interesting you mentioned that sometimes, depending on the circumstance, a product can be more worth than in other circumstances. I just read on LinkedIn, if you think about a Coke, if you're in a store, a Coke might be €1. But if you're in a football game, it might be, it might be €4. But if you're in an airplane, then it might be €10. So really, it's also interesting there that, the value of the product can be different depending on the circumstances. Yeah, thank you so much, Paulus. I will talk a little bit about how to guide a conversation, because really, all of you have been in meetings or listened to presentations when you have become bored. If there's anybody here in the meeting that haven't been bored any time when somebody has presented, you can raise your hand. Okay, I guess everybody agreed with that. If we think about a typical meeting, most of you have perhaps not heard about Seidat. We won't really go into it that much right now. But usually, how does a structure of a typical meeting look like? I would say it's what is visualized here in this slide deck. You have a kind of like a regular company presentation. And some salespeople I meet with, they said I've had the same presentation for 2 years, for the same meeting. And I'm asking them, like, don't you ever get bored? No, you're having 10 meetings a week. You always show the same kind of presentation. And they laugh a little bit when I ask them about that. But honestly, that is oftentimes how it is. That salespeople will have similar kind of presentation, and it might look like this. They will have a cover, a little bit about information about your company, some key figures, some values, that your company will bring, but also in the end some references. And really, what I think about this, that first of all, it's not only boring for the salesperson, but also for the one that listens, because you want to have interactiveness. But I would say it's difficult to be interactive if you have beforehand already decided what to show, and that is something that
I wanna tell you one story.
Yes.
It was a couple of years ago when I was selling Seidat to one of our current customers, and they organized it that way that at first I met one director, their CEO, and then he collected the team around to one meeting. And in the early beginning of the meeting, one sales manager raised his hand that I don't understand at all why we are sitting here discussing about presentations, because we don't have any time in a meeting to present anything. I said that please stop presenting if you present at all in a meeting, because I understood what he mentioned, and it was exactly this kind of situation what is visualized in this image. At first they had some introduction discussion, then they ran this shitty company presentation, then they started to do real sales work, doing clarifying customer needs and solving problems and deciding next steps. He thought that this presentation was waste of time, and I said it is absolutely waste of time. But after that we started to think about how could you use sales presentation this, and I give you, Fredrik, opportunity to tell that. But after the meeting he said, absolutely, we need Seidat. He thought in the beginning of the meeting that presentations and using presentation is totally waste of time, but in the end of the meeting he turned his mind.
Really, thank you so much. Because really, you don't present just to present. I think it's all about having a conversation, right? So that is also why I'm really I argue that it's so important that not always having the same, but be very flexible in the meeting. That is something that we will discuss. So how should a great slide deck be? Of course, we are one of the leaders in the field, Seidat, so we should have quite good knowledge, and Paulus have worked many years within this field as well. First of all, it should give some kind of wow effect, because if you have been in a meeting with a sales guy or anybody that presents, and you see a typo somewhere, you see something that doesn't look good at all, that's where your eyes get stuck. So it's so important to have a slide deck that looks professional, because basically in the end you want your slide deck to be at least as professional as the service that you sell. I had a meeting quite recently with the hotel chain, and also some other, and they said that they showed their presentation and they were not happy about it all. They said this is not how we want to show ourselves to our customer. Our service is so much better than this, but that they couldn't really show that in the presentation. So it's important to have a presentation that actually can show the real side of your company. Another thing, it should support the presenter. So it shouldn't be just a few slides talking generally about your company or what you can do, but it should be something that can enhance a good discussion and help you to dig deeper into the conversation. And then last tips there, allow interaction. We have we will go a little bit into that, but we have in Seidat we have a more interactive way of presenting. We have something called a matrix structure, which means that the regular way of presenting in PowerPoint is the linear way, right? You go from A to X, and it's more kind of on a high, can I say like a high level or a pitch level? But in Seidat, on the other hand, it's a little bit different and so much better. And let me explain you why. So in Seidat, you can have different sections really depending on where the conversation goes. So you might start in the beginning with introduction, and then you might, come to the need. But as you understand what the customer actually is interested in and what their needs are, then you can go to that slide which is relevant for that.
Seidat's presenter view in an innovative matrix
we pause
structure
that video?
take meetings to a new level. You have
Oh, you see, you can have it interactive. Somebody can even speak directly in the slide. We can do that and say that. We can add videos. We can do so much more. But yeah, just what I wanted to talk about is that what makes us very interactive in sales meeting is the presenter view. Because in the meetings, the salesperson, he will be able to have all the slides in front of him. And then depending on where the conversation goes, he will then choose the slides which is relevant. And also, if you're using another tool, for instance, like PowerPoint also have some similar, you can actually see the slides in front of you. So whatever tool that you're using, I will really recommend you to use that in your meetings, because it can become so much more personal than that you already have like a predefined presentation that you're showing for the customer. Do you have anything to add there, Paulus, regarding that?
I would jump shortly to this slide and think about the sales meeting itself and role of presentation in a meeting. How to build that is that I think that the presentation's role should be like a campfire. I really like campfire, sitting around it and with my family or friends and eating something and discussing. The whole night goes very quickly when you are in that kind of situation. But you should think about the presentation same way. It should be like a campfire. It should be in the center of the discussion, which helps you to open the discussion. And then if you have this kind of very well prepared structure for the meeting, which is prepared to also to the presentation, which you can follow using this kind of
Seidat's
tools.
presenter view in an innovative matrix structure take meetings to a new level.
It's really easy to sell them and maybe onboard new people to that process.
Yes. And kind of to summarize this section, what we discussed around right now. So with the competitive edge, so always being one step ahead. So for everybody in this meeting, try to build a presentation according to the structure of the meeting and use the presenter view to guide the conversation. So even if you have 30 slides in your slide deck, you don't necessarily need to use all of them. But I would say it's better to have them so that you can be very well prepared to answer any questions that come up. But using the presenter view will actually help you to be much more personal in that specific meeting.
Yeah. Then, if you think about this jumping step by step to the next topic, how do you make that the customer feel special? I would say that the basic for that kind of thinking is that every time when you are going to the sales meeting, of course, you must think about to who you are talking and who is spoken to. So why we are here, what is our goal, what should we do, and it's how to tailor the presentation to your audience. I think that the very basic for that is that I recommend not to do 2 specific slides every time. It's very nice that you have, for example, this kind of slide, which is not maybe telling the whole story, but it gives you opportunity to tell more detailed how you can help them. For example, in our case, this slide is telling that, okay, this our platform can be used with any device, but how I tailor the present this slide to my customers is typically I try to build some kind of story. If the customer is interested about golf, for example, and they play quite a lot golf during the summertime, with maybe with even customers. So how nice it would be after they have played a little bit and then go for coffee or whatever, and they have discussed about business, then they can take a phone from the pocket and during this discussion show a couple of slides if it would help them to sell something. So thinking this kind of stories around those slides, it's very important. And there are maybe people who are interested about sailing, and you can tailor the present this story to that kind of situation. So build those slides that way that you can tailor the pitch using those slides. But you must do something to do that tailoring.
Right. Thank you. Just kind of to check in, we have a few here in the meeting. Of course, most of the people will get it afterwards. Does anybody right now have any questions that you would like us to ask regarding the topic we have or around presentations?
Not at the moment. But
Not at the moment.
You can comment and send questions whenever you need.
Exactly. Great. Thank you for that. So how can we make sure in that, when we are in the meeting, to really understand? Because I would say one big issue for salespeople overall when they have these generic presentations is that you don't really have time to really dig into the issues of the customer that you're meeting. So when you create your presentations and when you create your slides, try to think about ways how to connect with your customer, connect with the challenges that they have, and then have a slide deck where you can actually add those slides that can answer those questions or concerns that come up during the meeting. So, for instance, for me, on a personal note, this is one of the slides that I sometimes use. Challenges with sales. So if I have a customer that I'm talking about sales overall, then I might ask, okay, these are some challenges that the customers that we work with have had before using Seidat. Inconsistent sales results. It might be difficult to cross-sell. It might be difficult to pinpoint the new products and services that they have, and also might be difficult to collaborate. And then you can ask, okay, is there anything here that you could recognize yourself in? And then you might get the conversation going, and then you can say, or do you have anything else? If you could add something to this list, what would you add? And in that way, having slides that can actually help them think a little bit and help them, help their thought process going. That can be something that can lead, to a discussion, and then from that, you can actually take it to the next level. I have an example I will give as well from one of our customers, Kontio. It's a Finnish company where we created their slide deck. So they are, they are building and selling houses to people. And I will show you one slide that I think can be very good. Now, of course, you won't use the same slide, but I mean, just like the structure of it. This one. Let's see. Paulus, can you I think yes. So if you go to the benefits of Kontio logs, continue the little. This, yeah, exactly. So here in this slide, it talks about what are the different benefits of the logs and the houses that they build and that they sell. So, for instance, in the beginning, they might have questions like, okay, which things are important for you when you buy a house? Okay, should it be healthy? Should it be environmental friendly? Should it be logistically? Would it be easy to get around from there, for instance? And then they might get to think. For instance, if they talk about is it healthy, they might think about perhaps an experience they have had when they were in a school or in a house where, let's say, the ventilation wasn't as good. So in that way, it also comes out very professional that you discuss some issues in the beginning. You get the conversation going, and then you pinpoint, okay, these are the benefits. And then you say, okay, you mentioned these things that that health is something very important for you when you buy a house. That it's it can help you to have a good health. And then you might say, well, the Arctic pine, it actually prevents asthma and allergies. So in that way, I would say have questions that can open up the discussion, but also build slides that can have you answer those along the meeting. And when it comes to overall, with Seidat presentations or overall presentations, this is how it looks like with Seidat. So, Paulus, would you like to add anything? Because what was your, if I ask you like this, what was your main thought when you build this at the first time? Because it differs a little bit from the regular way of presenting. What were your thoughts when you build this platform from scratch?
I want to start from that campfire idea. So I don't see that there is any way to sell having exact sales pitch. Sales is not pitching. It's all about discussion. And it's all about the interaction. When I'm discussing with customer, I'm maybe giving some ideas, I'm educating a little bit, asking about their needs, and then we must all the time have some conversation, some interaction, discussing this and that, and then giving them a solution. And I have done quite a lot of professional service sales, like selling advertising and development services. My background is that my educational background is in industrial design, so I have been quite a lot in product development environment. And when I'm going to any new company to sell that kind of services, there is never ever no idea what they are gonna develop next, because they don't tell it publicly ever, because it's one big secret. So it's something that I can't prepare ever to that kind of meetings so well. No idea what is gonna happen. And that's why it was really important that I have opportunity to select them from bigger reference case library. For example, what should I tell them? And it was really hard. But then I have realized that exactly same problem is in every business. I just came to this meeting from one discussion about selling health services. And for example, that company, they have 6 options what they are offering to their customers. And it's always there is some kind of need survey, and then they, based on that, they propose some of those services, not all of them.
Right.
And that's why we built this kind of matrix structure.
Yeah. And I will also say, I would say another benefit of having that is that you can save a lot of time. That is something that I've seen with some of the customers that we have, is that if they have like a more, of course, you can do two ways. Some companies, they like to tailor. So before the meeting, they tailor, like create a brand new presentation for that specific meeting. But other companies, they might have like a more kind of general presentation with a lot of slides. And then in the meeting, they can choose those that are relevant for that specific meeting. And both methods works really, really well with Seidat. But something that I would like to say is that as a salesperson, it can be very tricky sometimes to be in a meeting when they actually don't know beforehand what they will discuss. Let's say you're a sales guy, you go to a meeting, and there are two decision makers in the meeting. One decision maker might be, let's say, IT director, and the other one is the marketing director. And of course, they have different things that are interesting for them. So, think about the salesperson in this situation. You're in a meeting, you get the question from the marketing director, and then you need to find a slide that kind of can answer that. And then directly after that, the IT director says, well, what about these things? What about this? What about this? Then it can be very tricky for the salesperson because they might need to scroll around the whole presentation. That can be very, very difficult. And they might end up saying, hey, okay, let's just close the presentation. Let's discuss this, because they might not be able to actually handle that, that situation, because it really demands a flexibility. And that is exactly what I feel Seidat can do for salespeople when they are in a meeting, that you don't need to worry. You don't need to worry what kind of questions will come up. Of course, sometimes there might be questions that come up that you won't be able to answer. But then, of course, you will take it afterwards. But I would say, like, one of the benefits of having a broader presentation and having like quite a lot of different use cases is that you can have the meeting according to the needs of the customer. And that can just save you a lot of anxiety. You're so much more confident in the meeting because you don't need to worry, okay, do I have enough for the meeting? Can I be flexible when it comes to the different kinds of questions that might come up?
But I must tell that when I started my sales work, I used those plastic slides with I don't know what is it called even. I don't have those English words, but that machine which shows them to the wall. And
overhead projector?
Yeah. We used those. And then we used whiteboards and draw everything. But what I have felt that this drawing to flat boards and whiteboards, it's like a tailoring the sales pitch to your customer. But what I have felt many times when I'm selling today, for example, I have about 150 slides in my sales deck. Whatever customer is asking me, I can show a slide, which helps me to explain how we can help them. And what happens when they ask 3 questions and immediately the next slide is answer to that question? The feeling is very interesting. They absolutely think that I'm prepared really well to the meeting because I have tailor-made presentation as they think about the topic. And they are smiling and asking, how did you do that? And this kind of feeling in sales meeting that you are so well prepared, you are tailoring your content exactly to their needs without jumping over slides. Of course, you are jumping over slides, but the feeling is that you always click only exactly that slide, what they are thinking about.
Yeah. And that is also customized. So you can customize in different ways. You can have this big presentation, but you can still customize it, using the presenter view. But I will also say, after the meetings as well, you can customize the presentation that you're sending to the customer. For instance, if it's a sponsor letter, you might have different kind of slides. You might have, a summary, challenges, a little bit about the solution. So different things, right? But then if you go to the pre-sales material, this might be the things that, okay, you want to maybe have a video, maybe that give them this wow effect before the meeting. You might have more kind of general things about the organization. And then when it comes to proposal, you want to be more clear. Okay, this is the cover, this is the offer we have, these are the terms and conditions. So I would say in every case of the sales process, try to be personal to the ones that you're meeting with. Try to tailor it. If it is in the meeting, you have the big presentation, and also after the meeting, because obviously, like, it won't help if you send the customer 50 slides and maybe 5 of them are relevant. It's just waste of time. It's waste of your time because you will add a lot of slides, but it's also waste of the person's time because he or she will get bored after going through all those materials, and they say, well, 95% of this is not relevant. So I would say in the whole process, try to customize it. And if you kind of summarize this part that we have discussed right now, always pay attention to the audience by personalize the materials, both in advance and also on the fly during the meeting. And in that way, you choose the suitable slide and you adapt the story. You have that campfire and have them be engaged around that campfire.
Yeah, that's good summary. Then we can jump to the last part of this webinar, is how to create wow feeling to the meeting. And of course, the wow feeling is like doing some amazing what your customer didn't wait for you. And one easy trick to do that is using versatile content. Use videos, embed your websites. You can use this kind of panorama images. It is, if you are selling cars or caravans or houses or whatever kind of physical products, environments, it would be nice to have this kind of options in your meeting that you can check more detailed in 3-dimensional or 360 view what is all about your product, what you are selling. It gives you more opportunities. It's not only image and text, but it can be whatever. Then in many cases, we have seen really good effects that if you can embed your website, like here is our website, it could be whatever, but it's in live mode and you can go to the case studies. In some cases, it's if you are selling this kind of product that the website is like one part of that, then you have a presentation, and inside the presentation, you can introduce how your service is working. What we do sometimes, we show that, okay, we have chat there, so you can immediately discuss with our personnel and you can even test how quickly they will answer. I don't now want to make a demo, but I must say you can test it. It's typically seconds.
Could I add something? Paulus, could I add something if you go back to the slide?
Website.
To the webpage, yeah. Something that I have noted as well, I don't know how it is for you, Inga-Marie or Joanna or Aldona or the other ones attending here. Sometimes I meet sales leaders that say that, okay, sometimes, our salespeople, they start with a PowerPoint, and then, they take that away, and then they try to connect with the internet, and then they're showing the website. And that can be quite a lot of, extra stress for the salespeople. Okay, first I have this PowerPoint, and then suddenly I need to go to the website. Okay, go to the browser, put that in, and that takes time, but also, it's not as professional. If you would instead, in the presentation, have the embedded website, that just makes that makes that wow feeling even stronger.
Yeah, and I think using website as a sales tool is interesting discussion topic because it's mostly developed to gather leads. It's sharing information which you can read or watch. It's not done for presenting. And when you should present something and explain, it's not maybe the most easiest way to do with that. One what has been really impressive in many cases is that when we discuss with our customers, we can show what is the return of investment. Okay, you have 51 salespeople, the return of investment is this, and then we can go more detailed how this is calculated and if the package is higher and so on. But this kind of advanced things will help you to sell more. You can this kind of calculator. It's very typical that customers are asking, what is the return of investment? If I buy this and that kind of service, what I will get back? And if you have this kind of calculator in Excel or whatever, why not to bring it to the presentation? I think it's one interesting way to build a wow effect. What we also do quite a lot, Fredrik was telling about sponsor letters and intro materials and that kind of things. Inside the material, you can embed your calendar, and it makes it very easy to book a meeting. I just before this session sent to my customer one presentation, which was a guide to start the project with us. So where they can send all materials and where they can schedule a meeting. So it was really easy for them. Only one presentation, including all guidelines, one click, and then they can send all materials, one click, and they can book a meeting with our project team. Very, very interesting one way to do it. Then one important wow effect is to use images and visualize everything as well as you can. If you can't, you can ask help from someone else, from us or wherever. But this is one example. What is the effect? How to get wow effect? This MSCO is our customer, and before they started to use Seidat, they had this kind of presentations, very, I would say, old looking things, but they are really advanced company. And if I check this kind of presentation, what we built for them, I think it's so much more interesting to think about what they are, and this looks so advanced, at least my opinion. And this presentation, it's maybe the first impact about your company. They see you and the presentation, and it depends on what kind of presentation it is. Then they think that way about your company. Is it professional or not? Yes.
Could I say something here, Paulus?
Yeah.
I think it's really interesting. My dad usually says that you cannot make a first impression twice. So I think it really comes to the presentation as well. We've talked about being professional. If you come in and you have a slide deck that looks like a 3-year-old have created, we have you have different colors. You have different kinds of colors. You have different things, different fonts, different logos. The customer won't even understand what company you are. I meet quite often companies that they struggle with that, and as a result, they're like their sales isn't kind of expanding as much as they want. So, it's so important, like having, being professional, having something that you can really be proud of and that can actually show the real value, what you want to bring to that customer.
Exactly. And this is, it's easy to continue from that point of view, that first impact. This is an example how to build first slide to your presentation. It can be which slide ever, but this is like a step-by-step ideas how to develop it. This is very typical first slide in a presentation. Only your logo in the middle of some brand colored slide. And what happens when we change that background to the northern lights? For me, at least, immediately jumps some kind of images of Lapland and northern countries and nice weather, a little bit cold maybe. It's amazing to see those northern lights. It's strong story. Only with image, the difference, changing the image to the background, the difference is big. But then, if you are not selling any kind of traveling services, like we are not selling, why not to add something which is related to your business? Smiling face in a meeting room and adding a text presentation solution. I think from this slide to this slide, there is a big jump. But we can do it even stronger if we think about what you want to offer to your customers. Make it a little bit more storytelling kind of thinking. Make every meeting a success. It's not only presentation solution what you are selling, but you are selling success stories, what you want to build with your customers. So think this kind of topics. Don't go there, what is the easiest way to do things, but try to understand what is the story, what your customers want to buy, and build slides which are related to that story. It helps you quite a lot. Fredrik, you are watching that.
I'm smiling a little bit. I'm smiling. I attended a meeting we were in Dublin last week, Paulus and I, and we went to this. It's called SaaS Talk for SaaS companies, and they talked about the branding of the big companies. So many cases. If you think about Nike, let's do it. It's not about okay, Nike. This is the pricing we have. This is the feature, but it's about the feeling, right? It's about storytelling. So if you think about the big brands out there, it's rarely that in the marketing it talks about, okay, we have really cheap prices. It's more about, okay, what is the feeling we want to bring to you? If you think about North Face, you don't think about, if you think about a marketing campaign you have seen with them, or just like the image of it, you don't think about, okay, what's the pricing for their backpacks? But you think about adventure. You think about, okay, we're going to nature, we're doing something fun, we're exploring something together. And as I talked about, like Nike as well, and there are other companies as well that have very strong branding in that way. So I mean, like the content that you show, it's so crucial, because you want, as Paulus said, you want to create that feeling for the customer that, that you buy it because this is something that will make you want to do something, instead of, okay, these are the features we have, try to adapt to it. It will maybe be okay. Yeah.
So how to create wow feeling, develop the visual quality of your presentations, build some stories inside the slides, use interactive materials, these kind of special effects like those panorama images and videos and etc. And prepare to tailor the content for your customer. Exactly tell the story what is related to their business. How we do it also, this tailoring, we do it, for example, that way that in a first meeting, we typically ask our customers to send their current materials, typically PowerPoints, to us, and then we import them to our platform, and in next meeting we can show how it works in our platform. So it's tailoring the meeting towards customer needs. We are exactly discussing about the current material and how we can make it even much better when using our platform. Today we had on agenda how to boost your competitive edge. This has been about competitive advantage and how to stand out from your competitive situation. Try to find these blue oceans with your materials, what you are using. And I would come back to this positioning. It's like a base for everything. Position yourself that way that you are not same than the other players in the same game. And try to build this kind of feeling that you are always ahead of your customer in a meeting, that whatever they ask, you can answer easily, and try to guide the discussion by step to the closing stage. And tailor, not only slides, but also the discussion and the message what you are telling based on your customer business. It helps them to understand what you are saying. And wow feeling, it's tiny thing, but it's really important. And because this is Seidat has been organizing this presentation, I shortly want to introduce what is Seidat all about. Our mission is to enable winning sales flows. So we are helping our customers in sales process to achieve better sales results. We are concentrating mainly to meetings, of course, because of presentations, but not only in a meeting. It's all about what happens before the meeting, what kind of content you can send there, what happens in a meeting, what happens after the meeting, or between the meetings. Typically in sales, it's not only one meeting which is enough. Then we are solving the problem how to collaborate inside your sales team, how to collaborate between sales and marketing, even seller and buyer. And if you can solve all those three topics, I really say that you are enabling winning sales flow. And we have this our platform, but we have also services. We are building better presentation to our customers. We are training our customers to sell more. So there are many opportunities to collaborate with us. But of course, our main business is that Seidat sales presentation platform, in which you can manage the whole life cycle of your presentations. So you can create those presentations, you can present them using our platform, you can share them, you can analyze the usage. There are insight-built analytics tools, and you can use our own tools also for signing contracts. So when you create a proposal as a Seidat presentation, share it to your customers, the customer can sign that and make an order. And of course, it's never ever one-timers, those presentations. You maybe copy-paste it and use in other sales case, which is quite similar. So it's about how to develop and manage those presentations easily and using as less time as possible. So this is cloud-based platform where you can collect all your presentations and in one place, doing only one tiny update. PayTrail is updating their logo as an example. example and I want to change it, I change it in the image bank and it will be updated to every presentation on every slide where we have used that reference logo. Seidat is also a really good tool for meeting, all kind of meetings. Of course, it has huge advantages for face-to-face meetings, but especially in online meetings, because it's working really well together with Google Meets, Teams, Zoom, whatever kind of tools. You don't need to have even this kind of screen sharing options. You can share only a link and have a call with your customers and then browse the presentation with mobile phone or tablet or whatever. When you share the content to your customers, we have amazing email notification feature, which helps you to understand that now customer is doing something with the material, what you have shared. Today, for example, I was having a meeting with one of my customers, and at the same time, I got a notification from email that, okay, I sent a proposal to one other customer couple of days ago. Then I got a notification that now he opened it, and in 1 hour he called me. I was prepared to take a deal. So it was really good pre-information for me that now we are close to close the deal. If he didn't have called me, I would have called him. Of course, because I have known that, okay, now they are discussing about the topic. I think this is including the major things about Seidat. If you really want to test it and get started, I recommend you to go to our website or directly to app.seidat.com and start a free trial. I really recommend to do that. And we have all the times all kind of webinars going on, but I would say that also it's important to notice that we have had several webinars before. So please go to our Seidat Academy and check what has happened, and if there is some more even more interesting webinars. If you are from Sweden and can speak Swedish, kan tala svenska, then you could join to the webinar with Fredrik and Otto about how to build grow your business in new market. It's coming. Is it next week?
Yeah, next week. Yeah.
Yeah. And in the end, I would also say, please follow our social medias, LinkedIn and Instagram especially, because in those channels we are the most active ones. Do you have something to add? If you have any questions, we are still here. We can continue. But I think that we have some ideas at least how to boost your competitive edge. And I hope that it will be useful for you to grow your business. And I wish you really good luck in sales in the end of this year and try. And I'm really sure that you can make better, even higher results than ever before in this year if you start following these tricks. Thank you, Fredrik, that you had the opportunity to join this.
Thank you so much.
And thank all of you who are there, who have been there. So, and if you want to have a meeting with us, please go to our website, and there is in contact page, there is a direct calendar links, so you can book a meeting immediately from there with me or Fredrik or with anyone else. So we really like to collaborate with you. Thank you, and bye.